Hey everybody, Kyle Hamrick here for School of Motion, and thanks for joining us today. We're doing the closing ceremonies for the first ever Mograph Games, but I couldn't handle all this by myself. So of course, we have the founder of School of Motion and the fiercest competitor of any Mograph Games, Mr. Joey Korenman.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. And I do want to compliment you on your amazing headband. I was, unlike you,
official.
Yeah, unlike you, I was lazy. So I have an unofficial knockoff that I printed out right before that, and unfortunately I ran out of tape, and I didn't feel like having a thing taped to my bald head the whole time. But here it is, everybody, ladies and germs.
Well, speaking of tape, this is very official in that it is printed out and scotch taped onto this headband. So,
you know, I'll tell you the headband that I made, it would fit better. This is a non sequitur, but. We grew a pineapple, and I wanted everyone to see this because doesn't that look like someone that walks into a Hot Topic, you know? And, like if I could pull off that emo do, I would.
Yeah,
the headband would actually fit better on the
a
pineapple.
screamo band about 10 years ago.
That's awesome.
In the chat, if you have the name for that band, please let us know.
Yes, love it. Please make it a pun.
Okay, so yeah, hopefully you know while you're here, but we're going to be talking about the Mograph Games, which were super fun to do. I think this just kind of came from sort of an offhand idea that we had internally, but I think it kind of started from the 15-minute Mograph stuff that we've been doing inside the Square, which is our alumni community. Ryan Plummer, that's been on the School of Motion team for a couple years, started that originally before he was at School of Motion. We've revived it in the Square recently, where we give these weekly challenges to people to just kind of like keep their skills in shape and challenge themselves. And I mean, I don't actually know, but I assume that at least sparked this idea, right?
I don't remember. So like so many things at School of Motion, like sometimes, especially something this big that takes this much effort. And by the way, everybody, like most of the kudos goes to Kyle because he was sort of the quarterback and masterminded this thing. A lot of people were involved. But Kyle, you did an amazing job putting this together.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I actually, like, by the time something's out into the world, I can't even remember where it came from. It just sort of happened. I do remember, though, like, having a conversation at some point where we were trying to figure out some cool thing that we could do to get the community involved and have kind of like a little competition. The Olympics were coming up. So it was sort of like, oh, well, what if it was like the Mograph Olympics? And then we found out that you can't say Olympics. Or else you're going to get sued. In fact, we're probably going to be deplatformed.
Yep, too late.
Because, yeah. And there's another part of it too, which is that the way that we run our classes, at School of Motion is we try to give the students, all the assets that they may need so that they can focus on one specific thing at a time. I find that that's just like a really effective way to learn. So we thought, well, that would be fun to do. We could have like, a design challenge and an animation challenge and a 3D challenge and a composition challenge and a compositing, keying challenge. And so we came up with all these assets and these ideas. We had our TAs involved in helping and actually doing the challenges. And I don't know, it just seemed like it was going to be a fun idea. And then the cool thing about the team at School of Motion being as talented and as big as it is now is I can just let other people do all the hard work. Once the idea is out there, I just get to watch it. So this was really fun for me too. Thank you, Kyle.
You just get to watch it and make videos of yourself dabbing.
Correct. Yeah.
The most crucial component of this entire thing.
I practice. And I will say the flossing was probably the hardest event for me because, I'm 40 now. And so like just getting my hips to move that way, it's not as easy as it was 10 years ago. I'll tell you that.
I'm not sure I've tried. Yeah, I don't think I've really even tried to floss, and it's not happening today. So,
that's a shame.
So, like Joey said, we the whole point of this is that we had 10 days of motion design challenges, and each day kind of focused on a different thing. Those of you that have taken one or more of the classes might have recognized some of these. Some of these are very similar to a course assignment. And on almost all the days, we provided either an After Effects project or a Cinema 4D project, or at least like design references, so that you could kind of have something to get started, and then you could run with it. And just to say this right off the beginning, even though we're calling this a closing ceremonies, and we're not gonna like keep hyping this every day on Instagram. All the challenges are there. We've got links that we'll be dropping in the chat, so you can. If you missed a day or you missed all the days, maybe you were taking one of our courses and had all your free time vanish into that already. Obviously, you can do these anytime. That article will stay up, and it'll be just as fun to see your stuff, 3 weeks from now as it was yesterday. So we had 10 days of these challenges, and each day had a TA or former TA who's now a full-time employee do a demo of that thing. And you can find all those obviously on School of Motion's Instagram. So we're going to be kind of explaining what each day's challenge was, and then show some of our favorite highlights from that. First and foremost, if you were one of the people who participated in this, and I've already seen some names I recognize, if you did 1 day, if you did 10 days, go ahead and drop your Instagram handle in the chat, and then people can, we can have a big follow fest during this. One of the things I would love for this to do is have a bunch of people learn someone new that they should be following on Instagram, or 20 new people that they should be following. Because it was really cool to see all the talent and creativity on display from all over the world. I know there were folks from every time zone probably that did something for this, definitely every continent. So that was really cool to see, and it's awesome to throw an idea out there and then see 50 versions of what people think that should become. So
yeah, and it's like the real Olympics too, In fact, maybe next time we do this, we'll even have it be a little more competitive, like between countries and even maybe U.S. states and stuff. That'll be another element.
Awesome. So I see some handles coming up already, and I like I said, I recognize a lot of these names, which is awesome. So we are also going to be doing a giveaway after we walk through these. We are giving away a seat and demo reel dash, which is of course taught by Ryan Summers, and it's 4 weeks long, I believe, and it's a really intensive kind of you figure out how to brand yourself and make your demo reel be an advertisement for yourself, be as tight and focused as it can possibly be to get you where you want to be in your career.
Yeah, that class is incredible, not just because of what Ryan teaches in it, which is really like based in his years and years of experience in the studio world at the high end of motion design, but also as you're working on your reel, you're getting constant feedback on it from not only the other students that are taking that session with you, but also your teaching assistants who are professional motion designers. So it's one of the coolest experiences that I think that we do at School of Motion, because it really, that's where the rubber meets the road. It's like, can you take what you've learned and get work with it? And we've had a lot of success with it, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I've seen some amazing results from, it's a great one for kind of before and after, because it's a pretty, like, you can see like a 1 minute thing before and a 1 minute or often less thing after, and see what a vast improvement just a handful of weeks can make in someone's demo reel, which is the way that we sell ourselves. So
exactly, there's a lot of editing tips in it and stuff like that. It's really great.
Totally. So obviously we're live today, and if you do have any questions, I feel like this is more just like a love fest today. We're just going to show you a bunch of stuff we thought was fun and cool that you made. But if you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop those in the chat, and we will address them. So we're going to start kind of just showing you the stuff we really liked from each day of the challenge, and get ready to follow some people, right? Because there's going to be a lot of great stuff here. So let me, I'm running a lot of different stuff today. Okay.
You're full octopus mode.
I am. Okay. So our first, here, let me do this. First and foremost, if you haven't looked at the, hashtag Mograph Games, this, you may have seen it leak a couple other places, but it's mostly intended to be on Instagram. So go check out that hashtag. There's 400 something posts of results from every single day. And they're really great. So I'm going to kind of introduce the concept for each day and then show you, some of the posts that we really liked. So the first day, we had this frame that you could just animate any way that you like. And I called it Typography. So there's kind of, a thought that it would probably be a typographic challenge, but people took it all kinds of different places. And we had a demo on this one from our own Sarah Wade, who was a longtime TA and has since joined the team here at School of Motion. And I'm not going to be showing the TA demos just because we've got so much else to show, but check all of those out on our School of Motion Instagram, like I said. So let's just kind of start hopping into these. So we've got one here from Alex D. Solar. Obviously, these are looping, so I'm going to let it play a time or two so you can kind of see it here. Just great like keyframes, some good animation bringing stuff in. Nice little like posterized torch animation here. And Joey, if you have any comments, just jump in. I'm going to kind of probably just plow through these because we got a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, so I don't want to say too much. I will say one thing I do love about this is how subtle the torch animation is, because it's easy to overdo stuff like that, and it's like kind of just the right amount of wiggle on it.
Totally. So we've got one by Evan Cooksey Motion here. I love that like smeary stretch text there.
It's beautiful. Yeah, there's a lot of good animation principles in there too. I love that, how things react and there's weight to it too. Yep. And
then one by Can Stanislav, who I believe this one also has some nice like really cool stretchy text going on. Thought it was good to put those back to back.
Yeah, I kind of like the intro too. Like it, it kind of sucks you in. It's got the subtle glow on it. It's nice.
Very cool work there. A good torch too there. Yaya, who did quite a few of these. I love this kind of like glitchy, blocky mosaic vibe that was going on here.
Yeah, I can almost hear the sound design. Like if this was like part of the graphics package for the Olympics or something. Well, I can't say Olympics, sorry. For the sports ball games and track and field events. You can feel kind of like the energy of that, and that's really cool when that comes through even without hearing audio.
Totally. And just a note, some of these do have audio. I'm going to try my best to remember it because Instagram mutes these by default. So if you have audio and I don't play it, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. Yeah. Here's this really fun one from Hen Moore here, who I just love the creativity of that idea, kind of turning it into an arrow. And again, really great fire there. I think that's maybe that kind of particle technique where you have a couple layers of particles like actually cutting away from it.
This is really, I love the idea is brilliant. And what I would say, Hen, is like one little tip. If you have something that's supposed to be flying through the air and you want to imply that it's flying really quickly, if you have a flat background, there's no reference point there. So in this scene right here with the arrow, even if there was some little streaks or something just to give you a sense of speed, it would have been even better. But this is already incredible. It's a great job.
Totally. Then we had this really fun one from Sabrand, who turned the torch in here into a little character, which I just thought was super cute.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, and again, like I love, it's funny like how subtle the character animation is. You can get away with just a little bit sometimes. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had another kind of character-based one here from Nee Pappen, who turned all the letters into characters, which was not something I ever anticipated here.
They almost look like little insects at the end with their little thin arms and stuff. That's super cute. I love the faces too on them.
Totally. And then we had this one from Sarah. This does have audio. I just thought this was really adorable because Sarah got her kid or kids involved in this. And this little bit with, I don't know if you can hear it, the dragon here brought in a parakeet to light the torch. I
oh my God, that's so cute. Genius. So I don't remember, Kyle. So you'll remember some of these actually won T-shirts, but I've been given the authority by Kyle today to give out more T-shirts if I see something that like catches my eye. And anything where your kids are helping you, and never mind your pet parakeet, that deserves a T-shirt. So Sarah, if you were not given a T-shirt yet, you have just gotten yourself a T-shirt.
I think she might have won one. All the T-shirts were random, by the way, as will the demo reel dash. But
just in case, yeah.
Totally.
Well done.
And then another some kind of crazy man award to Kyle Daly, who rebuilt all of these in Cavalry to do the challenges.
Oh my gosh, I love it. This is really cool. And Cavalry's, you know, like just for people who are watching, if you don't know what it is, I know Hamrick, you've done some content on it. We've had live streams with the creators of Cavalry. It's kind of made to do stuff like this, like repeating things and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely. It's much more. It works a lot like the Mograph module in Cinema 4D or something. So doing things with lots of arrays and stuff like that. It's totally built for that.
Yeah, I love. Wow, it's really creative and it's like well designed too. Like the colors work well together, which is tricky with our color palette, as we know.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of saturated colors.
Yes, all of them,
done.
Actually.
Cool. So I'm going to load up the next day here. So day 2 was a design-based challenge. And if you've taken Design Bootcamp, you probably recognized it because it's pretty much the exact same thing. So we just gave, you're just supposed to do some layouts, some title layouts. And we just gave a handful of references, okay? And our demo was by Giovanni Grant. He did a really awesome job, so go check that out. And then here are so many things to bring up. There we go.
Fancy footwork.
So here are some of the ones we liked. Sahej didn't do every day, but did like this little title card for the ones that he did, which I thought was really cool. So this is like exactly what we were looking for. Do some sketches first, kind of work out some rough ideas, and then just kind of do a couple of different examples to kind of see what works. And you'll find over the course of doing this that like some of them are going to feel better than others. But this is a great way to like work through doing a title lockup and just figure out like what idea makes the most sense, right?
Yep, that's exactly it. And what I love about this exercise too is that it kind of helps you develop your bag of tricks that you can just go to when you need to do a lockup really quickly. Yeah, exactly.
Totally. So had another good one here. I love, all the little details that people added, like the Bezier things and pen tools. And, a lot of those are kind of expected, but in a good way. Like you want to help communicate that these have to do with Mograph and design and stuff like that.
Yeah, these are great. Okay, go back one. I wanted to give a note on this just because I can't help myself.
This one?
Yeah, this one. I love the creativity of it. I would say one thing to keep in mind when you're doing lockups like this, try to keep stroke widths consistent.
Yeah.
Right? So as you're scaling things down, scale up the stroke width so that it visually matches. You can see the pen tool stroke width different than the box around days, things like that.
Yeah. Feels a lot heavier. I'm trying to remember where this... okay, so we got one more here. Okay. So I don't think I explained this clearly enough, maybe, and which is okay because a lot of people took this way further than I intended. So some of these, this DVG media here added color to these, and I think these are really nice. They're still like simple lockups, but you'll see in a minute some people like went crazy with this and made full-on things. I think these are all great. I love the color use of color on these. And all the imagery and iconography in here. Very cool.
And I would call out to everybody watching this. This is a great example of how you can have the same information, Mograph Games 2021, but with different hierarchies, right? So like the bottom right one, 2021 has a lot more emphasis, than it does, say, on the first one in the top left, right, where it's kind of equal with everything else. It's just kind of interesting to see how people interpret it.
Yeah, a big part of this is figuring out information hierarchy and making sure that you communicate, and that's why like kind of the simpler thing is a good exercise because communicate what the most important thing and don't get kind of lost in other details that maybe are less important.
Yep.
Okay, this one I just thought was super cool. It let me show over here. So this was one of the references that I provided. Again, don't get sued. It's just a reference, guys. I thought this did a really great job of kind of capturing, that vibe. Though I will point out, since we're critiquing these, technically doesn't say all this week on som.biz/TV. And I think it's /TV, not .tv. So details are important, right?
Correct.
But,
yeah.
But I love
the noise. I love the noise and the texture there because it kind of that's like just a little detail, but it kind of I can see where it came from based on the reference that you provided.
Absolutely.
It kind of pulls that in. Yeah.
So here's one from Martin, who did, again, kind of brought color into these like simple layouts, But then again, like great iconography here. But then like did some, kind of like mock-up animation versions of these, which is really cool. And
They did a great job of like staying within our brand too, I think, like
totally.
really feels on brand too.
I thought so. And then just showed some, other ideas that he clearly like didn't decide to take as far. And this was a great example of like, you do this, make 10 examples, and then you're going to find like the 1 or 2 that are worth showing to the client. And then they pick one and then you move on, right?
That's it.
This one from Lacey was just so freaking adorable.
I love it.
And again, like, she took it and animated the thing. And I think Lacey picked up on, the noise treatment on the Mograph Games branding almost does have that kind of like crayon-y, like scribble look to it. And I'm guessing that's kind of where, some of that vibe came from. But I thought this was really fun. And
it's also, and I'll say this too, like the way that Lacey took our triangles and kind of mocked up the Olympic, like five ring lockup with it.
In a legally different way.
Yes, it is absolutely in a legally defensible way too.
Yeah.
But it's funny how I just assumed everyone would do that, and actually I didn't see that many. But I thought that's one of those things where it's like the obvious but very clever thing to do, and I think as a client I would have chuckled.
Totally.
Yeah.
So Deanna, I think, is one of the people who took this much further, probably because I didn't explain this brief well enough. But I thought these were super cool. Deanna is she is an alumni. I've talked to her before, and has some really great design chops and this cool like collage style, which I thought was just really cool on these. So I love this one in particular. I really like.
Yeah, it's a totally different take, right? Because most of the other ones we looked at, they were really more about they were on brand for us, which our brand is not gritty and kind of X Games feeling. Which the last 2 they felt almost like an extreme sport or something like that, which is awesome. I really like them.
Yeah, and then I mean I don't even have words to really like. What Andrew Marston did here is just next level. You can debate like you can debate what this has to do with the Mograph Games, but like as he's a School of Motion alum, and clearly this was just like kind of a awesome thing to do for the the School of Motion community.
Before you move on from that, Kyle, I want to point out the goat on top of Jake's goatee. That's the chef's kiss right there.
Yeah. For anyone who's not familiar, these are all the instructors of the School of Motion courses made into this awesome epic movie poster. And Andrew, I couldn't remember if it was attached to this post or not. Andrew did time-lapse videos of himself building all these challenges, as a couple other people did too, which is awesome. So if you want to see how these came together, I know off the top of my head, at least like 3 or 4 people did those for all their posts, which is great. He also like did some other designs here, which I think are awesome and fun as well. But I mean, compared to the movie poster thing, like what are we even supposed to say about this now?
Yeah, he should retire. He's never going to do anything better than that. That's it.
These are all super fun designs here. I think this is cool.
That's clever.
Again, the Olympic rings, but you're kind of giving it some variety there, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Day 3.
Day 3. I'm having so much fun going through this, Kyle. This is amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so day 3 was a timeline obstacle course, where this is a very animation boot camp sort of challenge where you're doing a bouncing ball thing and some stuff it has to interact with. So you get this this kind of fairly wide project, and you have to fit it into a square, obviously, so you can move the camera as well as bounce the ball. So we have a really great demo from Algernon. Again, go check that out. You can see a time lapse of him putting it together. And then let's check out some of the things that these are super creative. So I'm really looking forward to showing these off. So this one from Cornelia KT. This is very much what I envisioned these being, just like a fun thing where the ball bounces down and interacts with some stuff and knocks some stuff over. Just, well done.
Yeah, it's all in the details too. The way the Bezier kind of deforms, the way the yellow layer kind of vibrates as the ball hits. Just those little things really make it. Yeah,
absolutely. I thought this was well done. It's kind of cool too. You can probably see like I think Animation Bootcamp, the current session probably just did this assignment. So there's probably a few people who like kind of just got to do double duty there. Here's one from Vania Namesh, who also did a really great job on this. I thought that the ball spin felt a little funky, but I think the bounces are pretty good, and I like just all the movement there. Nice knockover of all the elements and making it loopable there was really clever.
Yeah, the only thing I would call out is that the rotation of the ball sometimes doesn't match the direction it's going. But I mean, I love, I love again, like sort of the, the details, like the way it knocks these things over, the speed lines. I mean, there's a lot of good ideas there.
Totally. And this one from Magic Mograph, Tyler, who I think I saw in the chat. All the squash and stretch on this one and snap. That's just super fun.
Yeah, that one feels really good.
Yeah.
It's all about contrast with this stuff, right? It's like those moments of like slow, slow pop. If you watch old cartoons, that's kind of the name of the game. It's like contrast in motion. And this is like a great example of that. It looks really good. And the squash and stretch is done really like, it's not too much,
Even just conceptually, like bringing the timeline to life by using the cursor to move stuff, that's really clever.
Yeah.
Then we had this one by DP Nacer, who started using the Bezier curves in an interesting way, and then I thought that was really cool, scaling up the ball.
It's really great. Yeah. Isn't it crazy like how creative you can be with the same assets? This is actually one of the things I love about our classes too. In Animation Bootcamp, basically every exercise is structured like this. Here's some artwork, and you're practicing an animation technique or a principle. And it's crazy. I've seen thousands of homework assignments from Animation Bootcamp, and they're still all different because animators are creative people and they can't help themselves. They want to do like that. What happens with the Bezier kind of capturing the ball and then throwing it? I mean, it's brilliant.
Yeah. Again, I think there's maybe a couple spots where the rotation doesn't feel quite right, but I mean, this was using CC Sphere, so you have all 3 dimensions of rotation. That's really hard.
It is tricky. Yeah. I love this one. It's great.
So we have this one from Yaya, who again like brought the whole course to life here.
It's amazing. I mean, you're seeing, every animation principle, maybe except squash and stretch. I didn't see that one in there, but like every other one is in there. There's follow through. There's anticipation. The bounces are really well done. Yeah, this is great.
Totally. Arguably, all of the timeline stuff coming up is kind of squash and stretchy, maybe. It's very bendy and floopy.
Yeah, there's an exercise in Animation Bootcamp that's you've got, it's everyone who's taken it will know the noodle exercise where you need to make things kind of bendy, and that can be tricky to do. Yeah.
Let's see. We had one from Josh R. Design here. I really like the null, like boom, kicking the thing off the end there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's really creative. That little bulge, like it compresses, but it also bulges, which is really nice.
Yep. Cool, very nicely done. And then we had one more from Evan Cooksey here, who again just kind of brought everything to life in a really cool way. Even has the timeline bar. Like we're RAM previewing this thing. There's a little bit of a slower, like lower frame rate going on in here too, I think.
Which is so hot right now. It really is.
It is.
That 8 to 12, that really is kind of... This is really well done. And I appreciate the plug that he plugged his website in there.
Yeah.
I mean, his name.
Yeah, probably should.
Why not?
Awesome. Okay, what are we on to? Day 4. So day 4 was character animation. And this started a thing that I was really hoping to see, and I was so happy to see. A lot of people started commenting like, I had never tried character animation before. Like I had never worked with a rigged character before. And that, I don't know, that was super cool to see people like diving into 3D for the first time or diving into character animation or whatever. And I feel like that's a huge success of this event. Just like if we got you to try something new, yay. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So we had this little triangle character. And I have not given a shout out to Zach Tijen, who is one of our longtime TAs, and he designed most of these challenges. So he created these little triangle characters for us a couple years ago. They're part of our like course portal. But we brought that little character back for this exercise here. And we have a great demo from that by the one and only Tracy, who is just a force of nature in herself. Yeah. And again, these are all super adorable. We got some great stuff here. So let's load some of these up. I gave away the bit here. So this first one by Pepin, whatever. Some of the animation is a little less polished in this, but I just thought it was so freaking adorable. They made use of their design from day 2 and then did this like just super like kind of anime shocked face thing in there, which is just too cute.
That's incredible. Right? That's incredible. And I want to call out too, like you said something really, I think important, which is that like if you've never done character animation, especially in After Effects, there's so much like startup cost involved, like designing a character, rigging it like in a way that works and makes sense. Never mind actually being able to animate the thing. And that's how we built our character animation class too. You get the rigs. You're not designing a character and then rigging it. You're just, here it is. And the rig is developed by a professional rigger, Morgan. And it's because you have to animate in such a different way when you animate with characters. And there was some really good character animation in the entries that I watched. And this one, like, the actual quality of the character animation, there's room for improvement. But I love the idea,
Yeah, and creative ideas are like you can always learn the tools, and you can refine the animation with more time. So creative ideas go a long way. So
yeah, it was awesome. Good job.
Okay, so this one I just loved. I thought it was well animated and a great idea from Lensalot here.
Excellent.
And the little smear of the eyes when he gets squished down and stuff. Like there's some good stuff in here.
Yeah, and the only thing I would suggest is even more contrast in the animation. Like
totally.
The thing with character animation, especially with a cute character like this, is you almost can't overdo it. And you want to exaggerate the hell out of every pose and have pops that are 1 frame or 2 frames so that you feel the explosive energy. But I can see all the pieces are there. You've got good anticipations, good takes, all the things that Morgan teaches. It's really good.
Like right here is a great opportunity. You could show how heavy these weights are by like his body goes up first and then the weights come up. Like a little thing like that makes such a difference in terms of like really communicating that. Okay, we had this one from Noose here. This one's just adorable.
That's how I play basketball too.
Yeah.
Was that his butt? Is that the triangle's butt that he used?
Absolutely.
Or is that his back?
Absolutely.
I guess it's all the same, right?
Yeah, it's all the same. We will say I didn't put it in this list, but Mike, if he's watching, I know that Mike did make a little brown triangle fall out of this triangle in his entry. So I guess it's established canon that this guy does have a butt.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Again, I think this is well animated. You can, see the ball squash here after it gets boom done up there a couple times, bounces and stuff.
I love the little blinks too.
Yep. Here's a really great one. Again, some of the animation stuff, the walk particularly, like it could maybe be a little more polished, but I love this slam dunk here and the dribble through the legs.
Yeah, I'm impressed by the dribble through the legs because just thinking about like layers turning on and off to go behind and in front, it's a lot to manage. It's really well done. Yeah,
I like all the facial expressions as part of the slam dunk there. The eyebrows are really doing a lot of work there. So. Yeah, nicely done.
Yeah, I just saw Space Jam with my son, and I think this guy was in there. I think he was in there.
Then we had this one by Neftali Motion. This one's great. I feel like the watching the run maybe goes on for just a little bit long for kind of the payoff that we get. But I love the concept of like making this much more gymnastics-y. Like it's like an Olympics gymnastics run,
Yeah, and that little jog cycle is really really well done.
Yep.
Even with a simple character, sometimes it's almost harder to do a walk cycle or a run cycle because you don't actually know how that thing or that creature would walk. It feels good, and everything's there. The heel hits, and the weight transfer, all of that is there. It feels great.
Totally. And then go one more from Paolo here, which so I put the basketball in the project file, but it was turned off because like this is on the basketball court, but it's not, it's gymnastics. Do whatever move you want. You're just supposed to like make him do some move. Okay. And Paolo actually said he didn't see the basketball, so he used the moon as the basketball. And like, again, mega creative, and also, again, just like well animated. I like the into the roll, turning a triangle character into a roll somehow. Like,
yeah, and it's really trickier than it looks sometimes to have a rigged character do really extreme things like that. We just had a workshop with Fraser Davidson come out, and he had characters doing like fighting things and front flips and stuff. And After Effects isn't really designed as a character animation tool, so sometimes you have to hack it to kind of get it to do what you want. So I don't know if that's how that was animated, but it was really great, that little moment at the end. I liked it.
Totally. Okay, so again, like I said, we were starting to get into people doing things that they were not comfortable with, getting out of their comfort zones, which is awesome. And that kind of brings us into day 5, which is our first 3D challenge. So we gave a 3D file of these 2 cans of Rendergy, which I think Joey just took a sip of just now. And then we gave a couple of, like energy drink ads as references here, so you can kind of see what's going on there. And we had our own Luis Miranda do a just mind-boggling demo on this thing, because of course it's Luis, so he, did what Luis does. And again, we got people saying that they had never tried 3D before and turned stuff in for this. So I wanted to start out by giving a shout out to one of those people at Galdrin Cipher Design here. So from the post here, the take I got was that they had never worked in Cinema 4D before. And I kind of commented, and they were like, yeah, I watched, a couple hours of tutorials and figured out how to do this. So huge props there. Obviously, there's some stuff that could be finessed here. But the fact that you did a thing in 3D and animated it, as well as you compositing this other stuff in, I just wanted to shout that out because that's
absolutely awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's not trivial, and I can see from his description that he did this in C4D Lite, which is even harder.
Yeah.
that like throws way more roadblocks in front of you too. So props. It's amazing.
So kind of the intent here is that people would make, people could just make a still. If they wanted to animate it, they could. But especially like if you're just trying 3D for the first time, there was zero expectations that you would animate something. So I think a couple people did some great jobs just turning these into like a still ad, which was kind of the references that we provided, right? So Vinaya Namesh here did this great thing. Bezier blue is obviously going to be real icy and thirst quenching here. I think that looks good. I don't have the skill set to critique 3D stuff too heavily. I'm just going to say it looks cool. Maybe EJ can chime in. I see him in the chat.
Yeah, well, I bet EJ would probably comment on the beautiful reflections on the left side of that can when you're doing product rendering. A lot of what might at first glance be lighting is actually reflections of lighting, and that's one of the things that EJ harps on, and that's part of all of our 3D classes. But it really shows you like the shininess and the sleekness of the can, so it's really nice.
Totally. And again, this is very similar to an assignment in one of our courses. So don't those cans of Rendergy look delicious? From Sahej again here. I thought this looks good. Not quite as shiny on the cans, but I thought that all the environment work was really nice here. And then, just kind of showed how it was working in there.
Yeah,
nice work.
And everyone watching this, I mean, there's a lot of process stuff that a lot of people posted. So there's actually a lot you can learn from. And obviously watch the TA walkthroughs too, because you can learn a lot just by doing that.
Very much. Here's one from Rushika. who again, like, these maybe have a little bit more of a kind of satiny finish on them. But I loved, working this into an environment here. I thought that was well done. And to be fair too, if you don't have one of the fancy, expensive render engines, you're kind of working at a disadvantage already. Like, it's probably a lot harder to get like those super sexy metal textures if you're working in Cinema 4D Lite, which some folks definitely are.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it, but you also have to really understand like the science of materials and lighting to know how to get something shiny. I mean, to me, this also, sometimes you see like craft breweries will put like sort of matte wraps around their cans and stuff. So it could be that. It could just be that.
It absolutely could. And I feel like
the
we can still see the characters here. I agree. I think the composition's good. We get good focus on what the product is. So I think that it absolutely accomplishes those goals. Had one from Mike here, MJP Motion. I love all this like extra liquid and little keyframe bits that are in here.
Yeah.
And I think he had, some real tasty close-ups on the cans here.
Yeah,
nice.
This one in particular could really benefit from a little bit of post work. Well, all of them actually, all three images, because the renders are beautiful, and then you could just go into Photoshop and just like add a little bit of sort of a little bit like brighten the center of that image a little bit relative to the outside, because they feel a little bit dim in places. But I think like I really love the depth of field. There's a lot of great detail in there.
That was my thought too. They all feel maybe just a touch like underexposed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they look great, and just a little bit of post work would go a long way on these. So here's one from I guess In Chung, Ink Render. Like, if you look back at the references that we provided, some of these energy drinks and stuff, I think like, man, you nailed that.
Yeah, that's perfect. The color of the can looks like it may have shifted a little bit, but as a concept, this nails the brief. Absolutely.
Yep. And these are the water droplets that were included in the project file, which some people got rid of, which is okay. But I mean, I think those look great there. They look like water. And then there's a second one here too for the other flavor. We did not establish what flavor Keyframe Crush actually is, so I guess it's cherry.
It's vodka flavored.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And then let's see. We had Austin actually animated this thing. I think this has audio too.
That's great.
Kind of a similar vibe to what Luis did, where there's some keyframes like floating in the liquid around these, and just doing a cool product spin. Very cool. Again, I kind of feel like maybe this is just a little bit dark. Like if you're kind of focusing on the product.
Yeah. And the other thing too, I would love to see is it feels like the camera's rotating around it because the highlights on the can don't move. But I wonder if instead, I mean, one thing you can do is just parent the lights to the camera. You'd get the same effect, but the reflections changing as the thing spun might look really cool too.
And again, full recognition that we're asking people to do these things like probably around their full-time jobs. So like
in one day.
It's sometimes in just a few hours. So some of these might, be things where someone was like, yeah, that's good enough for, this Instagram thing. So please, take all critiques as they are intended, which is in that spirit.
You can tell us where to shove the critique after the live stream if you like.
So day 6 is the day that everyone was looking forward to, which, of course, is when we were provided green screen footage of Joey and his daughter for the Freestyle compositing competition, where you could basically just use these clips and do whatever you wanted with them. And boy, people did.
Yeah, this was mind-blowing. It really was.
So we had a great demo from Nate Christofferson, who's one of our, again, TAs here. Go check that out. But wow, we just got some stuff on these that was, I would not have imagined some of these results.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Like for the past few days, and my daughter is featured in a few of them. And to her to be featured on social media at this point, she's about to turn 11. It's like a dream come true, really. So I've had a lot of fun looking at them too.
Okay, so let's take a look at some of these here. We have this first one from ABCDE Menko. Looks like Igor Domenko. Okay. I thought this was super clever. Kind of meta here. So Joey's dab goes on for a really long time, and a bunch of stuff goes on behind him. I'll just point out, we did not provide a clean plate of Joey's street.
Correct. That was the most impressive part because honestly, so my neighbor's house doesn't look exactly like that, but it's not that far off. And at first I was like, how the hell did he get the clean plates? I didn't give him Super clever, really well done, and a great concept too. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, great job, like rebuilding the world behind a thing that didn't exist and making it look really quite convincing there.
Yeah, it's a large hole to fill. Like, you know, it's most of the frame.
And then a lot of these people just, you know, took these to crazy places. I feel like these are in a different order than I meant for them to be. Let me try it this way. Okay, so Tessa's has audio, which I'm going to play and then turn on. I mean, just the loop of Joey forever here is pretty amazing. This thing loops really seamlessly. You got Dab and Joey on the comet back there. Like, I think the compositing holds up pretty cleanly for the kind of silly graphical world that this lives in.
I did not notice the dabbing Joey on the comet. That that is a great Easter egg. This reminds me of like a Syriac piece, you know, with like the power of 10 kind of thing going on. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So these are in the right order. I think I rearranged these. So yeah, that was super great. Great job, Tessa. So this one has audio too from Paolo. Very like 2000s Guy Ritchie sort of vibe here. Lots of fun.
Great job keying too. Those edges are really clean. Yeah. You know, that was one of the things I was noticing is like some people went a little too hard on the keyer, and you get those like dark edges around stuff. And this one's really well done. Yeah, totally.
I kind of wonder. Some of this is just from my background doing this stuff. So when your hand goes slightly off the edge of the green screen, you have to roto that. But I noticed Paolo just cut in closer then, and maybe just saved himself the trouble of rotoing, which is really smart.
Genius, yeah. Genius.
You can hide it in the stylization.
I love it.
That's the mark of a true professional, I think.
Yes, he knows how to cut corners. Very nice.
So Kyle Daly again, rocking this in cavalry. I mean, what do I even say about this? You do kind of have some edges here. I don't know if cavalry deals with keying at all, so probably had to like provide a matted version to go in there. I think he might be in the chat, so we'll see. But just the creative places that you took this were.
Yeah, it almost looks like what happens when you get pre-multiplied and straight color channels mixed up in After Effects. Sometimes you get like a weird edge. But I just love, I don't know, it's got like that kind of Austin Powers transition 1960s kind of throwback vibe. It's really cool.
Yeah. Now, Kyle is in the chat. He said no feet either, and yeah, I don't blame him not trying to make the feet perfect because
that's right. My feet are perfect. It's fine.
Green screen feet under the best of conditions are horrible to do, let alone in grass.
In grass, in flip flops. Yeah.
Yeah, these were not ideal keying conditions here.
Doing knocky knees.
Right. So then we had this one from Pibluno, which again I think has audio here. Yeah. Just super fun stuff here. And Floss and Joey immortalized forever here.
Yeah. I like for a minute when I was shooting this, I started to have second thoughts. What bad could happen? No, this is brilliant though, and I got to tell you, when I showed, so that's my oldest daughter Layla, and when I showed her this one, she was like over the moon. She's like, "Oh my god!" My middle daughter Emmeline didn't want to do it, and now she's regretting that decision. So
yeah, well, next time I guess.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know what to say about this one. We've got one more from Andrew Marston. Yeah, it has audio, so I'm just going to let it roll because it is what it is here.
Joey, this is like every single day. Don't you remember anything from our conversation about boundaries? Not okay, Joey. If this happens again tomorrow, I'm calling the cops. Oh my, Joey, I swear I am about this close to calling the cops.
Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it!
It's just brilliant.
Come on.
Shut her down, you know? Yeah, Andrew, that's incredible. Like the concept is so out of left field. I never would have thought of that. It's brilliant. And I know that like it was probably very tricky to composite that like you did, and you can see like where there's a few sins in there, but like overall pretty impressive, to be honest, and probably for how little time you had to do it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Bravo. Yeah. Okay, so day 7. So I know some of these have been real challenging. And again, we had people on each of these like, hey, I've never tried this before. Day 7, we're throwing some advanced stuff at you potentially. This one was kind of intended to, give a nod to advanced motion methods. And we gave you these 2 frames and you had to figure out how to transition between them. And they're pretty different. So, there are some ways that you can do this easily, but most of the ones I saw, like they clearly took a lot of work. Our own Frank Suarez did the demo for this one, and it's amazing. Go check that out. But let's check out some of the amazing.
This is a hard one. This is definitely.
It was super tough. So here's this one by Lensalot. I like the offset of all the Bezier handles there.
Yeah, it's hard. The trick is you always try to find something between the 2 frames that you can connect them with. And this one, it kind of, there's a little bit of a cheat in there because everything kind of morphs and there's but it really still feels continuous, like one continuous movement.
I agree.
So really well done. Yeah.
We had this one from Magic Mograph, Tyler. I love this just kind of like constant tumble thing here.
Yeah, and this is one of the tricks that's taught in advanced motion methods, right? You're sort of cutting on action, but making sure there's enough visual continuity between the cuts that it's almost like a sleight of hand, like a magician would do.
Yep, nice match cut right there. You can get away with a lot if you just make stuff move around the cut.
Yep.
Great one from News here. Kind of like finding some creative places to bring it to life in other ways.
Yeah, and I love when there's so much movement, it fools you. You can't, it feels almost like a morph when if you went frame by frame. Yeah,
it's just a match cut, but there's enough other stuff going on that makes it work. Moves right into it there.
Yeah.
And then Martin took that eye idea to even sort of a more interesting spot here, and use that as kind of the bridge between the 2 frames, which I thought was really clever.
That's great.
Let's watch it one more time here. Very cool. And then we had this one from Mike. Oh man, that stretchy keyframe. Yeah. Again, it's just a match cut here, but that like gooey stretch just does so much there.
Yeah, and I love how the tennis ball comes out to kind of cover the frame for just long enough, and
totally
beautiful.
Very nice work. This one from Dead Pixel Animation here, who evolved the design quite a bit, which I just thought was a very interesting take.
This is like the Blade Runner version.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. The glow works really well in that first frame. It really does. Yeah. That's cool.
We had this one from Paolo again here. I really like the concept of taking that Easy Ease key and turning it into a 3D object that flies up at us, and we see the bottom of it to turn into the gradient. Just the thought process there is really clever.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell without really going frame by frame, but it looks like that's maybe an After Effects fake 3D move there.
Yeah, could be.
Which that's another thing that Sonder sort of shows you how to do, because you can get a lot of wow out of just some simple tricks doing that.
Totally. Okay, and then I just wanted to call this one out. Some of the animation could probably be polished a little bit more, but so Natasha, I know, is an alum, was posting this inside our alumni group, is not very comfortable in After Effects, but knows some 3D. So she just rebuilt this thing in 3D.
It's impressive. It's more work just to rebuild it than to just learn After Effects and animate it.
So huge props there. Again, all these people who took all this extra effort to do something crazy like that, mad respect there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we got to keep moving here because we're almost at an hour already.
I think we're going into bonus time.
We are. How often do we do Mograph games?
Yeah.
All right, so day 8 was a real tricky one. It's a problem-solving challenge more than anything else. So we threw this After Effects project with you with quite a bit of stuff in it, and you could use all the stuff or not. But the whole thing was no keyframes. You're not supposed to use any keyframes in the project. You can do whatever else makes sense there. And the demo is, I don't know, by some dude. We don't really need to talk about him very much. Yeah, some guy who knows nothing. But we just got some really great stuff, really creative problem solving here. Like, expressions are probably what most people think to do with this, and certainly a lot of people did. But we got some stuff that was way outside the box there, which I love here. So we had this one from Sabrand, who put in his thing that he's learning a lot of stuff about expressions here doing this. I think he kind of just leaned into the wackiness that figuring out how to control expressions in a fine way takes some work. And I love how he just kind of leaned into it and it was this guy's just going to go like this because it's funny.
Yeah, and I love the little background wiggly texture too. I mean, that it's it's really great. Once you learn just a few expressions, frankly, wiggle and maybe linear and maybe 2 or 3 more, you have this whole new toolkit available to save you so much time when doing stuff like this.
Totally. I will tell you that my example, there's a couple advanced things, but almost all of it is wiggle and value plus time with a multiplier. It's pretty simple stuff in terms of the code. So Andrew Marston, his is not too far away from what my demo was like, where he brought the characters to life, and then
cameo from Layla. I like it.
Little cameo. So I love the amount of people who really leaned into the character aspect of this, and I kind of thought we'll provide them and see where it goes. So. Nice.
This one needs Chariots of Fire playing.
It does.
I think that, yeah.
And I think one thing on this, a lot of these, the animation itself is a little more basic. But remember, we're doing this without keyframes, so making stuff move at all is already enough of a challenge here.
Yeah.
So we had this one from Mike. I think this was really great. Added some texture over the top, and this swish wipe to kind of cut between scenes, which was really clever. And this is all stuff if you know just a couple things in expressions, you can make things move over a specific time or at a specific speed.
Yeah. Linear expression is your friend for stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I can see from the comment that he also used sort of the cousin of linear, which would be the easy ease expression. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. I will say that the background is, of course, built out of a text layer, and I provided some controls in there.
Love it.
So there would be some things where people could just set it to wiggles per second.
That's kind of your thing. That's your
It is kind of my thing, yeah. Okay, this one has music, and man, I just love this. Oh, I'm muted in 2 places. The wiggly booty shake vibe of this to the old-timey music. I think I laughed out loud when I saw this. So bravo.
Yeah, it's really clever too because I mean you can sort of tell like okay some of there's puppet pins with a wiggle expression or a looping expression, but they're offset. You know, like parts
Yeah.
of different limbs are offset, so you still
Uh-huh.
feel like someone animated it.
Yeah. Yeah. And who knows that there's tools that can kind of help you do those like offset wiggle,
Right.
down the chain stuff. Maybe he used that. Maybe he did it all, hardcore.
Yeah. You value it time, value
Yep.
it time plus
Mhm.
something. I mean that'll take you far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one from Pibluna, who, again, the amount of like different scenes that happen here are really cool. And I haven't seen a confirmation. I assume that, per the challenge, this was done without keyframes. So if so, props, because like there's even some little bounces and stuff in there. That's really nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you've been through expression session, you know just how far you can take these things. You can really basically create, a full simulation of the universe. That we're all living in. It's actually inside of After Effects. That's simulation theory. And so things that may look like you have to keyframe, you probably should keyframe, but you don't have to. You could, also do the thing that Kyle likes to do, and and Zach love it. And instead of spending 2 hours animating it, spend 12 hours building a rig.
Yeah, exactly. that you'll never touch again. And then you'll spend the next year meaning to make that rig available for like $2 on Gumroad, and then just never get around to doing that.
Correct. That is
great strategy.
100%.
So this last one I absolutely love because, like I said, like most people went with expressions, but there's a lot of ways to make stuff move in After Effects without keyframes. Like you could even plug audio in and make stuff move like based on the levels or whatever. So Sarah took this to just a whole other place and basically did split layers like a million times and changed the poses and made this into a stop motion piece essentially with the characters, which is kind of incredible.
See, now that is brilliant because it's within the rules. There's no keyframes. You just split the layer. I mean, you could basically just do a full-blown frame-by-frame animation that way, and you would have been within. I like this right now.
I love how it flows between all the different character designs. Like, this is really quite brilliant, I thought.
Yeah, and I love the transitions too. Super clever.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so day 9. Woo! Okay, day 9. We're getting serious here. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with the kind of jokey term of mobile. I think possibly coined at the last blend, but it was kind of based on the fact that a lot of us are, there's so many like tech company promos that are just like shiny balls rolling down things. And it's like, that's the metaphor for teamwork and all this stuff. So that seemed like such a great way. Like we'll have people play mobile and we'll give them one of these rigged characters from our lights camera render course. If they want to like play around with the character rigging and stuff, they can. The intent is to do lighting and like cinematic angles and stuff with it. We have an amazing demo from Alex Magneto. Again, go check that out on our Instagram. But we got some super cool stuff from people of all different skill levels. And, some people built this in other 3D software. Crazy town.
Yeah.
So again, this is just kind of like, if making a still is what you can do with your skills, that's absolutely great. So here's one from Alex D. Solar here. Used the kind of provided Photoshop file and gave it this kind of futuristic vaporwave vibe, which was exactly kind of what was intended from the provided file. So awesome job there.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a trick to nailing those tropes, right? To get the right vibe, and you've got like the right colors. I like the lighting on the left and the right side. I like the 80s chrome type. Well done.
And then Magic Mograph here. The color treatment on the character and the background, like it makes me feel like it's the cover of like a kind of a pulpy sci-fi novel that I would have read when I was a kid or something like that. It's got like an illustrated feel, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And if I was going to give a little critique here, I would say the trick with stuff like this is often coordinating the 2D graphic elements like the type with the 3D thing, and in 3D remembering I need some empty area to put type on, because it does fight with it a little bit, but I mean it's really beautiful to look at.
Agreed. And I would imagine that these are some of the type layouts from day 2, and this one achieves that a lot better.
Yes.
I loved seeing people who started bringing their type layouts from earlier in the challenges, into later ones. So nice job there. So Kyle didn't do this one in Cavalry, but I thought all the colorization on this, using all the brand colors and stuff, was super cool. Plus, he animated the thing, which is, nuts.
Interesting. And it looks like, I'm just reading the description, so to get that tune shaded look, he used ambient occlusion, normals, and then a ramp, maybe using, you could use Colorama or something like that to get this, but that's a really clever way of getting that look too.
Yeah. Nice work. Nice work. We had this one from Grant. Oh, this has music. I know. It's very like... But obviously that is the official theme to Mobile.
That is an NFT, ladies and gentlemen. Right?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, this is absolutely in that flavor. And I love, this is a great solution of like animating a thing without really animating the thing.
Yeah. You can get away with a lot, especially like with the flickering light. I mean, that's a really clever way of getting, especially if you're using a GPU renderer or something that's like physically based, you're going to get a lot of free, just neat, stuff, like just from changing the lighting.
Totally. Very good solution there. This one from Tucker, who just went full out, rebuilt this in Blender. So because he rebuilt it, like the look is a little bit different. The character's not quite the same, but he tried to capture the same flavor, which I think, was achieved here. So pretty cool.
That's great. Really
nice, cool cinematic lighting. I got all the spins, neat camera angles there. Nice work.
That opening shot is really beautiful. It's like really well done.
Yep. And then, boy, we would be remiss to not... Logan posted this in our alumni community and not on Instagram. And I was like, Logan, post this on Instagram so that I can show the thing. Come on. So Logan rebuilt or pushed this into Unreal because he's a maniac. And he like rebuilt all the assignments from LCR in Unreal, I think. And just made this into a whole other thing. Logan rebuilt like half of these challenges in 3D. He just didn't post them on Instagram. So huge props to Logan.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And then we had one more here from this one, which I think also has audio. Oh, no, it doesn't. Who, just went full on animated the thing. If I had to guess, like maybe those are Mixamo animations. People who are more familiar, might know that, but come on.
You're asking the wrong person.
Right.
It's super impressive, and using Mixamo, I think Mixamo is like such a great invention, because like if you think about what it would have taken to create this little sequence right here, like 10 years ago, it would have been almost impossible to do it in the time that you had.
Yeah. And I think this was posted like 3 hours after the challenge came out or something.
Yeah, even just rendering it that quickly, you know. And there's some really great things. I think like there's some things that can be improved, but I love like the texture of the ground, the shot where we're following the feet. That's great. Like that works really, really well right there.
Yeah, really nice job. Okay, so we are to our final day here, and some of these are probably still coming in. So I'm going to open a couple that I saw before the show, and then we'll just kind of hop over live to see a few of these, and we'll wrap things up and do our giveaway then. So the final day was intended to just be an illustration, okay? And again, we kind of provided some references and a few different styles, and you're just supposed to create an award for one of the events or for the games as a whole. And, just do something fun and exciting. We got a really great demo from Aaron Bradley. Did this lovely little illustrated trophy that, again, you can see on our Instagram. A lot of 3D people came out for this one, maybe because it was right after the 3D day. So we got some really interesting stuff here, like this one, who Anno Emotion, who did mobile trophies. Very appropriate. Yep. I think there are some maybe like solo poses here. I mean, they look like, lovely metal trophies. I mean, I have one back behind me, a couple back there that I can compare that nice. They look very similar. Great work.
It's very cool.
Marston built the Infinity Gauntlet with a bunch of Mograph icons on it.
What happens if you snap your fingers while wearing that? Like, what does half of the scripts on A scripts disappear or something?
Yep. All the bad clients disappear. How about that?
Oh, okay. Snap away.
We had this really lovely.
Oh, great.
That looks gorgeous and clever.
I love the smudges on the cube.
Yeah.
The finger print smudges. It's a great touch.
Yeah, exactly. It's clearly metal, but it has a realism to it, which is great. And then Deanna, so made this thing. It has music. I'll play it briefly here, and then we'll talk. So this was an award that Deanna made for herself, made it through the Mograph Games, except for the 3D stuff. And so this is super fun and animated, but I wanted to point out, she cut these out of paper and then animated them. Which is awesome, and made it into a little pin that lives on her monitor now, I guess.
Did she get a t-shirt, Kyle?
Probably should.
I was gonna say, if she didn't, she gets I decree she gets a t-shirt. That's incredible.
Fair enough.
I love the little ribbon legs. It's
dancing. Yeah, this is pretty incredible.
That's so good.
And then there was one more that I grabbed before from Nikki Tiv, however you say that. I thought this was just really clever and creative. I kind of saw this right before the stream. Definitely has that kind of the like awards, laurels vibe to it there.
Yeah, it's like that plus those toys that they have in doctors' offices.
Yeah.
Little wooden things on the. Yeah, that's great.
Totally. So I mean, we're live here. Let's just take a quick look and see what other things came in here. There's probably going to be more than we can. Oh wow, Marston kept going.
Yeah, he couldn't stop.
There are a couple of these that are just nuts. We got some Dab and Joey awards.
That's great.
And this great keyframes, like gold, silver, bronze here. Awesome. From Vanilla Namesh again. Logan, of course, made some more like kind of Oscar-y trophies holding keyframes. Oh, this is animated. Oh, it's Paolo again. And that is just lovely.
I love it.
Awesome.
Even little textures are animated. It's great.
Awesome. Another animation from Alex DeSoler here. Oh, that's lovely. Nice.
Oh, cool.
I'm sure these are all going to be amazing. We could probably spend all day looking at all these here. Here's Natasha again. Cool.
Very
the
nice.
Keyframe Cup. The Golden Joey from Sabrand here.
Oh my god. That is truly terrifying. That is the stuff of nightmares.
Looks like there's something else. Oh, that's cool. Kind of a sword through keyframe situation.
Yeah, nice. That's so creative.
Oh, wow.
That's look at that.
Beautiful.
That is beautiful. Yeah, seriously. Oh my gosh. Huh. I kind of want that hanging up.
I'm going to skip ones that are from other challenges just because. Here's Sarah. Made kind of a little Oscar-y situation. Some sketches. Cool. Figured out a way to put it together. Nice.
Yeah. Honestly, I think everyone can. I mean, if you go through the hashtag, there's so much to look at, and there's process. I mean, it's pretty. I'm so happy with like the turnout and just the quality everyone put into this. It's so awesome. Thank you so much to everybody. And I know some people, Kyle, actually did all 10 days, right?
They did. There are something like. Jeez. There are something like 12 to 15 people that did every single day of this, which is crazy.
Okay, those people who did every single day should also get T-shirts. I think if you didn't get one for one of your days, we'll. I know Carla's in the chat, and we'll figure it out. Like, hit us up and let us know. We'll get you a shirt too.
I agree.
And just so you know, our shirts, School of Motion shirts, are not like a shirt with our logo on it. We've had B. Grandinetti design it. We've had Lucas Brookings, Sophie Lee design a shirt. They're actually really, really cool, and aren't just like a big logo in the center.
Yeah.
Which you can have that too if you'd like, but.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So we'll cross-check that after the show here and work that out. But we also have another giveaway to do, right? We have Demo Reel Dash to give away. Joey, if you maybe want to vamp about Demo Reel Dash for a second, I'm going to run this thing, and I'm going to randomly pick from all the results one person who will be winning Demo Reel Dash.
Love it. So just in case you aren't aware about Demo Reel Dash, so this is actually our shortest class that we run. Ryan Summers teaches it. And the whole idea behind it, obviously demo reel is in the title, so that's obviously the focus of it. But it's not just about your demo reel. It's really about how you position yourself as an artist, not just if you want to freelance, but even if you're new to the industry or you already have a job, but you're just looking to sort of, prepare for the next step in your career. There's a lot of thought actually that you can put into your personal branding. How do you want to position yourself? And by that I mean, are you an After Effects animator? Or are you a 3D generalist? Or are you just a motion designer? And there's different reasons you may want to lean into one over the other. And then on top of that, I find a lot of motion designers are good designers and good animators. They're not good editors, and why would you be? Because you don't really edit, right? But editing is actually probably like a secret weapon that most motion designers don't know about. And you can spend your whole life practicing and being a good editor, but in the class, there's a lot of just foundational stuff that's taught and techniques and tricks to help your reel have that snappy feeling, which can actually, it's kind of a secret, but it can elevate your work above and beyond what you may actually deserve. But that's a good thing to do. And your reel is your calling card in this industry. And so it's really important to focus on it and do a good job.
I agree. Thanks for filling up that time. I have a thing here. So
let's look at your thing.
I'm going to share this screen. It's probably going to pop up immediately. So our winner, randomly selected from the 421 entries that this spreadsheet just built by scraping the hashtag, is Eleanor.xrj for this post right here on the No Keyframes Day.
Nice. Congratulations, Eleanor. Nicely done. And thank you everybody for participating in this. I hope it was fun, and I hope it was a good challenge and something exciting and just kind of different, there's a lot of, I feel like there's been a lot of days lately, Kyle, that just kind of feel very samey.
Yeah.
So it's nice to break them up and have something fun like this. And I'm really happy with how everything turned out.
Very much agree. This has been super fun to do. And just a lot of fun seeing everyone participate. Huge thanks to everyone that was part of planning this or pulling it off, or, you did one day, you did 10 days, you're going to do the days. I hope this was fun and you learned stuff, because that was the point. And it was fun for us to see you learning stuff.
Yes, we had a blast.
So,
absolutely.
Cool. Well, before we wrap up, let's do a little bit of just business here. We do have a couple things coming up, fingers crossed. In about a month and a half here is Dash Bash, delayed from last year. In North Carolina, Dash Studio is putting this event on. And we do have a limited number of tickets available at a discounted price. If you use the code MotionHold, you can get at the Dash Bash site, which I think they'll probably go in the chat in just a minute here. And we are putting on an evening rooftop open air party, one of the evenings of this event. So that should be really cool. In theory, I'm going to be there. I'm planning on it.
Let's hope. And it's in North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's in North Carolina. Weather should be nice.
Yep.
And we're sponsoring the after party, and I believe I don't have all the details. I apologize, but I'm pretty sure Ryan Summers and Sarah Beth are both speaking as well.
I believe that is true.
in addition to a lot of other really amazing people. I think Jorge's speaking, right?
Yep.
Yep.
It was kind of intended to be the a thing that could happen on the off years from Blend, and obviously, the years have gotten a little different since
Something
that
happened, kind of threw things off. But
yeah. And then also coming up this year, also delayed, was NAB that's coming up in October. And that's been a bit of a moving target as well. But
yes.
In theory, we have the big Mograph meetup that we've helped put on the last couple years, which has been pretty incredible experience as part of NAB. So, Joey, I don't know if you want to speak to that at all here.
Yeah, briefly. We've been putting this on for a few years now. It keeps growing, and it's basically just a big hangout. It always happens the night before the big exhibition starts, at the big convention hall in Vegas. And it's just, it's motion design, Slack, motion design Twitter in real life. It's like there's just a lot of people there that maybe you've met over the internet, you've never met in real life. And, usually Andrew Kramer comes by for a little while. He's hard to pin down. But there's going to be a lot of School of Motion people there. If you just look at the sponsors, you've got Mograph.com, Action VFX, Maxon, Puget Systems, Grayscale Gorilla, Video Copilot, us, AE Scripts, Mograph Mentor, and Pixel Plow. And you're going to see a lot of industry people there. It's a great networking event, a lot of fun. And I really, really hope that it happens. Obviously, things are kind of up in the air, because of the row. And, we're obviously keeping a close eye on the situation on the ground and making sure that this can be done in a way that's both fun and safe, ideally both. I'll take one, but 1 out of 2 ain't bad, right?
Yeah.
But as of now, it's on, and it's free. Go to the website, mographmeetup.com. You can sign up for a free ticket if you plan on being in Vegas. And if not, we understand, and we hope to see you there in the future, because this party is hopefully going to happen, from now on. It's really become kind of one of the things you do at NAB.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we need to do? Oh, we have a new hold frame workshop that came out just last week by Mr. Joe Donaldson. You want to speak to that a little bit? We just got this little loop of one of them here.
This one is amazing. First of all, Joe is just brilliant, and he designed and animated and created 3 2-minute long pieces for the New Yorker. And so this workshop, we go through a lot of the business stuff that was involved. How did he get the projects? How do you deal with a client like that? How do you come up with ideas? How do you do mood boards? The design, the animation. And as you can tell, the animation was really kind of simple and clever, and economical is actually the word Joe uses. So if you do visual essays, this is a really kind of invaluable look at how someone who is now, I believe, the design director at Buck New York, he's always worked at the highest levels of the field, and he's doing it again. But it's really cool to see how someone like that works. And I think the most interesting thing about it is how you might think there's some secret to how people like Joe work, and you find out there's not. There's a lot of trial and error. There's some hacky things you cannot believe someone at that level would do. And then there's just a lot of good principles and foundational things that you'll learn. So I recommend check it out. There's a lot of information on our site.
Awesome. And also on our site are, of course, all of the amazing School of Motion courses. And registration opens up in just a couple weeks here on August 30th. So, if you are not already an alumni and you liked some of the challenges that you participated in as part of the Mograph Games, you might be able to do the leveled up version of that challenge in one of these courses and then take that much further. So, I would love to see... it'd be awesome if someone did these games and realized how much fun, compositing or 3D was, a thing that they hadn't tried before. It ends up going on a whole new career path or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, if you were able to do all 10 days and you felt confident in all of them, then you are truly a generalist. And that's a good thing in motion design, to be a generalist. That's kind of what we try to build in terms of how we train our students. We want them to be generalists because it just opens up more avenues. You can also be a specialist, but I think like when you're starting out and when you want to maximize your career opportunities, being a generalist is the way to go. So if you were doing a challenge and you found your weak spot, then that might be something to work on. And there's lots of ways to do that, including our classes, which are pretty intense and they'll kick your butt, but you'll know a lot more at the end.
They will. And another thing that we are very aware of. I'll point out the next session does begin on October 4th. So that's when the session starts. Registration opens soon. Or as someone pointed out in the chat, you may actually be able to register already. So check that out. But one thing that we are very aware of is that, especially for international folks or just people from different backgrounds, that our courses, maybe could be expensive for someone, or, exchange rates can be difficult. So we do offer every session a community inclusion scholarship, which is open through August 23rd. Okay. So you still have a couple weeks left to apply for that. School of Motion does have a mission to break down the barriers to learning, mastering, and working in motion design. So we developed this scholarship to try and help expand the community to include more underrepresented and historically oppressed groups. So look for the link to the application in the chat. If you think you would be a good fit to the scholarship, please, we encourage you to apply. Or if you know someone else that might be a good fit for this, please share the link and spread the word.
Yeah, please do. Like seriously, yeah. and don't think, just try, just apply if you think you're interested, because we've given out hundreds of these scholarships now. And it's my favorite thing is when someone who's gotten one, then they go out and they get, they learn a skill and now they have a new job. And it's like, that's literally why we exist is to help that happen at scale. And so please, we want more and more people to apply for the scholarships.
Yeah, absolutely. And, while these games certainly weren't intended to be related to the scholarship in any way, but if you were thinking of applying for the scholarship and you're one of these people that did pretty much every day, say that in your application, because that a big part of why we have the application process we do is that we kind of want to make sure that people who are, asking for this course are going to be able to actually stick with it and apply themselves through the course. And boy, if you did a bunch of these days, you sure demonstrated that.
Absolutely.
So cool. Well, that kind of brings us to the end here. We've gone an hour and a half, which is our longest stream, new record trophy for us.
It felt twice as long, Kyle.
Yeah, conversations with me usually do. I don't think that we ended up getting any questions. The chat was real busy the whole time, though, so I am looking forward to running back through that. I don't know. Do you have any parting words of wisdom for us, Joey?
Wisdom. I don't know about that. I just want to say once again, thank you. Really, seriously, thank you to everybody who participated in this. This was so much fun to watch and go through. And I really hope that even if you've never taken one of our classes and you never plan on it, doing things like this for the community is so rewarding for us. And, if it helps you get even just a little bit better by practicing something, or, maybe working with artwork that is kind of a style you've never worked with, or doing logo lockups, which you've never done, then that makes me feel really good. And so I just want to say thanks for being part of our community, no matter how large or small your involvement with it is. And if you have any questions, for me or for Kyle or any of us, we're really easy to reach at School of Motion. There's a little chat bubble in our site. You can hit us up on social media. And if you have any suggestions for other events for the next round of games, please, we're all ears.
Yeah, we got a pretty good response to this, and I'm certainly not making any promises right now. But I went ahead and Googled, and the Winter Olympics are only in February. Because keep in mind, the current Olympics were supposed to happen last year.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe another one of these is just what is that, 7 months from now?
Yeah, we're going to have to start thinking of the puns, because you've got curling and you've got a luge. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of gold to mine there, I think.
We will see. Stay tuned and see if there's Mograph Games, the Mograph Winter Games in just the beginning of next year.
Coming to you from Florida.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Thanks for everyone who was hanging with us in the chat and watched this, or if you're watching it later, thanks for doing that. Thanks for participating. Thanks to Emo Pineapple. And we'll see you next time. We got some more shows coming up soonish, but we're not ready to announce them quite yet.
All right.
See you later.
Thank you.